Yeah, one of the players who's copped criticism for that is Reece Walshs. What do you make of his performance? He's always rocks and diamonds. We love him, but did he push the envelope a bit too much? Does he need to rein it in a bit, Wall?
Well, he likes to adventure and try to produce spectacular parts of the game, and it's very easy to be critical of a player that does that. If the Broncos were going a little bit better on the ladder, I'm sure Reece would have been the one that we were patting on the back and saying played a star role. Last week's has got him a little bit of criticism from the rugby league public, but I still say it's arguably the toughest position on the field. In the old days, they used to say it was up front. The halfback had it, or the 5'8", or the hooker had the key positions. But fullback these days, boy, that's a spot. I'm damn glad that I never had the opportunity to play there.
Yeah. Does he need to take a little bit of risk out of his game? How hard is that to navigate as a fellow former fullback, Lockyer?
I think it's just simplifying your game, and as a fullback, you got to think run first, right? So you got to have a focus on getting the ball on the full as much as you can. So positional play is important. Get the ball on the full. Get back into the defensive line as quick as you can. Dylan Edwards does that really well.
Yep.
And Connor Tracy at the Bulldogs, who's obviously come from Serraldo.
Yeah.
He does the same thing. So you get the ball and you accelerate into the line to get those metres for your forwards. And then when you're coming out of trouble, like, just to simplify it, just follow your forwards. Like, just be ready for an offload, or just push up with your forwards. And then when you get into good ball, do the same thing early in the set, but then come out to the edges on later in the tackle count. And again, think run first, because I think what's happening is Reece he's thinking he's got to throw
coming up with an idea.
He's got to come up with that sort of magic pass, right? Just run first and wait till it presents itself.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, Lockie. Just thinking about watching some of the ventures that he's had, and it's as though he's got the ball and he's thinking, well, I'm going to do this. Usually in situations like that, you can only come up with the idea on your thoughts, how you're going to attack via the presence in front of you, how the opposition defences come up. Have they got the forwards in the middle that you might be able to run around? Have they got an opportunity out wide? Is there a chance that you can link up with some of your wingers or centres? So it's easy to predict what you're going to do, but if the chance isn't there for you to do so, it's pretty difficult.
Well, when you look at what the try set up for Billy Walters, right? Like, if he's hanging around the ruck area and he gets an offload, that's what he's capable of doing. So have a bit of a mindset around attacking the middle of the field with your running game first, and then looking to spread it later in the tackle count when you're in good ball. Yeah,
I hate to sound like I'm peeing in Lockie's pocket here, but in the early days when you were playing back at fullback, when Kevy and Alf were there, and it was an opportunity that we used to watch you. You'd react to the chance that was in front of you after you got the ball, not prior to it, where you're thinking, I'm going to do this, and then you can turn around and that chance doesn't exist. And that's what I think was a great learning motion for you. You just reacted to the chance available, and you learnt to read the game.
Yeah, well, Kevy and Alf just played what was in front of them, and when they got the ball, they didn't know exactly what they were going to do. Yeah. They would be out playing on the ball outside, inside, and you just go with them. And I think the try that Kobe Hetherington scored, right? Yeah. There's no reason why someone like Reece Walshs can't be on the inside of Adam Reynolds. That's what Alf used to do, with myself.
Yeah.
Just go to the line and be inside or outside him.
Yeah, especially with Adam Reynolds there, with the magical passing game he has. He doesn't need to pass the ball as much as Lockie suggested. But Billy Slater on his Wide World of Sports podcast, the Maroons coach, he said the Broncos don't really know who they are as a team. What do you think about that?
I get what he's saying, because I think at times there's no... I think if you ask people how do the Broncos play, people would struggle to answer it.
Yeah.
Because it changes a bit from week to week. I do think, we talk about Reece running it, I think you look at the players there like Ezra Mam, Ben Hunt at hooker. I think if they have that mentality of that, particularly those two, Ben Hunt and Ezra, running the ball more, creating some ruck speed and just play off the back of that rather than have set plays all the time. I think you need to sort of try and build momentum and then create space and create opportunity, then play off the back of that.
Yeah, and if those two make the most of the opportunities that are in front of them, Lockyer, other chances become available for other players to take. And certainly it's easier said than done, but they've got to be able to assess the opportunities in front of them and make the most of them.
Well, if you go back to that first half against the Bulldogs in Suncorp, it was...
Oh, when they blitzed them, yeah.
That's sort of like, I know the Canterbury were off that night, but that's the blueprint. Like, just drop your forwards under, just keep ploughing down the middle of the field, make them tackle, and then wait for the opportunities to come.
Yeah, interesting you say those two need to rediscover their running game a bit more. We interviewed about Ben Hunt. He did media earlier today at Red Hill, and that's one of the things he said. He felt he's on the comeback trail from a hamstring injury. He was a bit tentative the first few games, but he needs to almost have a bit more Harry Grant in his game of like pick opportunities when to run. And we know he's good at that based on what we've seen in Origin and Test footy for Ben Hunt. So, yeah, if they do that, they can be a bit more dangerous. Also, Ben Hunt, it's his 200th game for the Broncos this week. Not 200th NRL game. Of course, he played significant amount of time for the Dragons, but 200th for the Broncos after starting, then leaving. And you actually would have played with Ben Hunt at the Broncos.
I think he's the only player there left that I played footy with, 2009. So
yeah,
I retired in 2011.
He was a hooker back then, starting off?
He said, he came... Well, he's always a halfback coming through the juniors.
Yeah.
And then I think Peter Wallace might have been the halfback at the time. And then, he was just starting. Hook, who was the coach, was knew him from Rockhampton, so Hook coached him in the 20s as a halfback, but he got blooded in first grade as a hooker. So and he's ended up there. I mean, he's great at both positions.
Yeah.
But I think, I agree, I think if he can find his running game, he's going to be a lot more effective.
Yeah. And losing that game to the Eels puts them a significant way behind the top four at the moment. Well, what do you think? Do you think in the long run they'll really rue that para loss? Because you kind of need to be into the top four?
Well, you can rue any loss that you have. But certainly that one does appear as though that it's going to be very
costly.
Very costly.
Yeah.
But I guess only time will tell. Who knows? There may be one of the other teams drop a game that they were expected to win. So it's pretty hard to say it that way. But the old saying that any loss is an expensive loss. Certainly that'll be the case. And I shouldn't imagine that the coach took it too well at all.
Yeah. Yeah, see his reaction at the end of the game when he thought they'd won when Reece Walshs had scored. That's the most animated I've ever seen Michael Maguire.
Never seen him like that.
And then 10 seconds later, it was the opposite with the offside call.
Yeah, that's all the emotions of a coach right there. I mean, I felt like if there had been a trial, it was a get out of jail.
Yeah.
Great escape. Because I thought the better team in the end won the game.
Yeah.